guys, Mark here with Wolters World. We're in Chicago, Illinois, in front of the Buckingham Fountain, and you can see a little bit of the Chicago skyline out there behind me. Now, I've spent the last 2 months driving around the U.S., being a tourist again in my home country, as I've lived outside the U.S. for about 12 years now. And as I've been going around, I've seen all kinds of beautiful things in the U.S. that definitely you should come check out and see. Now, there's been stuff I've loved, and there's been stuff I've hated. So that's what today's video is all about, is the 5 things that a tourist, this isn't about politics or economics or anything like this, this is tourists, 5 things a tourist will love and hate about coming to the U.S. Okay? Now, the first thing I want to talk about is, obviously, I like to go with the bad news first. And guys, if you want to bash the U.S. and stuff like that, hey, this isn't the place for it. These are things, tourist tips and stuff like that. Now, the first thing you're going to hate is when you come here is the sales tax. I know in Europe, whenever we have our prices and stuff like that, you know, it says €1, it's €1. Here in the U.S., if it says it's $1, well, it's not $1. You have to add on the sales tax, or the VAT. Okay, so if you're going to McDonald's, you know, if you're in Germany, you get the Euro menu, it's €1. Here, you go to the dollar menu, you think, oh, it's $1. I have $1, I can get my cheeseburger. Wrong. Sales tax will add on anywhere from 5 to 20% onto the product that you buy. Okay, food, books, clothing, anything, okay? And that gets a little annoying when you think, hey, I have $1, it says it's $1. No, you got to add on to it, so expect that. The second thing you're going to get annoyed with and hate about here, well, not hate, but get really annoyed about is, when you go out to eat, it is cheap to eat out in the U.S. However, that final bill, not only does that sales tax onto it, but then you yourself have to put on a tip. Because guys, if you go to restaurants in the U.S., now that's a restaurant when they have table service, they bring the food to your table, okay, or a bar, you have to tip them. You have to give them extra money, like Trinkgeld in German, tipping. All right, I know in the U.K. you get about 10%, other places you just leave a few coins. Here in the U.S., you tip between 15 and 20%. 15% is the minimum that you're going to give extra added onto your bill. If you had good service, it's 20% or more. Okay, you give a lot more, they're not going to care, they'll be very happy. But the thing is, you do have to tip at least 15% because the waiters and waitresses and bartenders, they make like $1 or $2 an hour, they live off their tips. So if you want to get this famous American service at bars and restaurants, you need to tip because you pay for it. That's why they're friendly and nice, because they know the nicer they are, the better tips they're going to get. That's how the system works. And that will get annoying because you're like, oh, hey, my dinner was only $10. No, it's 12 because you got to add on another 2 when you go there. The third thing that's going to annoy you, or you're going to hate about when you come to the U.S., is the lack of public transport. Now, in a town like Chicago or New York, there's great public transports. Good bus systems, subway lines, here it's called the L. You have suburban trains, great things like that. New York as well. But then if you get to smaller cities, medium-sized cities, things like that, the public transport network really gets down low. And if you're in a smaller city, 100,000 people, or 150, 200,000 people or less, sometimes you have basically nothing or just very few lines. So you're kind of stuck without any public transport. So you got to find your own way around. And of course, that limits where you can go and what you can see when you're in this beautiful country. Okay? Also, things about public transport is sometimes later on in the day and in the evening, you don't feel safe. Even in a town like Chicago, you're like, you know what? Maybe I'm not going to take the L out someplace. Okay? Number 4, and things you're not going to like about traveling in the U.S. are the distances between the sites. Now, if you go into the northeast U.S., there's a lot of cute towns, you know, right by each other, because that's kind of where the country started. But the farther you get out west, the bigger the distances there are between cities, you know, or major metropolitan areas that you want to see, you know. So, I mean, I always find it hilarious when I have people come to me and they say, Mark, I'm going to go to the U.S., I'm going to rent a car in New York, then drive down to Miami, and then drive over to L.A., because those are the 3 cities I want to see. And I just kind of shake my head. I'm like, guys, this isn't Europe. Okay, that's the equivalent of going from Madrid to Berlin to Milan to Madrid again, and I think back to Berlin. It's just New York, Miami to LA is 6,500 kilometers. That's a lot of driving to do, and believe me, it gets tired seeing all those cornfields after a while driving through the middle of the U.S., okay? So that distance is something that's going to get kind of on you. But you'll get to see a lot of beautiful countryside, at least you have that. But if you're going to be driving the U.S., just know with those differences, your best bet is to focus in different areas. The Northeast, or the South, or the Midwest, things like that. We have videos on all those places, so come check out our site and get some ideas. Number 5, in terms of things you're not going to like, again, you know, it goes with the distance thing, is you're going to have to drive. Okay, if you're coming here, unless you're going to stay in New York or stay just in Chicago, you're going to have to rent a car. Okay, and with that, you got the extra cost with that, you got the insurance, you got the fender benders, you have the police that are hiding behind the screens, just like in the movies, to get you when you're speeding. Okay, so you're going to have to deal with all those things, and that can get a little annoying, and it can add up in prices. So, but if you want to go see things, even here in Chicago, you still got to drive out to someplace to do it, or you can take a taxi here. But by having a car, though it sucks, it gives you a lot more stuff to worry about, but having that car gives you options to go to some of these small towns in the U.S. or off the beaten trail things, to do Route 66, things like that, that a lot of people don't get a chance to do. So it pays off to actually have your car, but it does kind of suck. So these are the 5 things you're going to hate about when you, as a tourist, when you come to the U.S. 1, sales tax or VAT, because every price that's on the thing isn't the final price. It always adds on more. 2, having to tip when you go out to eat or drink. It's 15%, 15 to 20%. Number 3, the lack of public transportation. Number 4, the big distances between the major cities. 5 of this is the fact that you're going to have to drive. And I apologize for the wind. I mean, it is Chicago. This is the windy city, so I'm assuming you'll get over it. Now, those are things you're going to get kind of annoyed with as a tourist in the U.S. But what are you going to love? I mean, there's so much to love about the U.S. I mean, it's crazy. The people here are great. The food is great to eat. I mean, you get really fat when you're here, but you'll love getting fat here, believe me. We're making more videos on that later when we come back to the U.S. next year. Now, first thing you're going to love about the U.S. is, guys, it's cheap. Even though, I mean, the dollar is weak right now, but just in general, going out to eat, hotels, things like that in the U.S. are very affordable, very cheap. Shopping is very cheap here. And that's one thing you're going to love about coming here is shopping. Sometimes shopping and being cheap for hotels and eating, it's all together what you're going to love here. And especially in terms of shopping, if you're buying electronics, things like that, you know, your iPods are cheaper, your laptops are cheaper, your cameras are cheaper. I mean, whenever I come home, I stock up on all my electronic equipment because it's not worth it to spend 250 euros in Portugal when I can spend $150 here in the U.S. So that's the first thing you love about it. It is cheap, so you can go and buy lots of stuff and help our economy. We always need that. Number 2 of the things you're going to love about here is the diversity. And the thing is, the diversity of culture, the diversity of the people here. We have, it literally is a melting pot in the U.S. And you can come here to Chicago. I mean, today I'm here in the Wine Festival. They had Taste of Chicago. You know, but the thing is, they're celebrating all these different cultures that have come to the U.S. And you can see that. If you're from Lithuania, you can go to Little Vilnius here in town. Or if you go to Chinatown. If you're from China, you can see all the different cultures that have come to the U.S. And they've kind of assimilated into to make America a much more diverse place. But also, you still can feel like you can get some stuff from the home country. And that's really nice. That's one thing I really love about the U.S., okay? Because it really is that melting pot, you know? You love going to Texas and seeing those cowboys. And you love going to San Francisco and seeing Chinatown and having a good time there. I mean, it's really cool, okay? The third thing you're going to love about the U.S., and one thing I love most about the U.S., are the people. The people here, the Americans, they are great. And I get kind of upset when I go abroad and everyone says, oh, Americans are so superficial. They're always smiling, asking how you are, but they don't care. I'm like, guys, we actually do ask because, I mean, that's how we say hi, but we do care. And we are nice, and we are smiling because we are happy. I always find it funny. I come back from living in Europe, and it used to people kind of being depressed, not depressed, but sad and down and stuff like that. And when I go to Walmart, you know, where people don't have any money, you go in there because you can't afford anything else, and everyone's smiling. Everyone's happy. People here in the U.S. are lovely. They're wonderful. They're going to help you out when they find out you're a foreigner. They're going to say, hey, where are you from? And they go, oh, my uncle was from there. Oh, yeah. And they'll try to, you know, figure out if they know anything from your country. And it's really kind of cool because the people are so friendly here. And I really love it. That's one of the things I really miss about the U.S. living here is just the fact that people are very, very friendly. And they're not fake. They are friendly. It's not superficial. They are that nice. Okay? Now, of course, different places you go, they are nice. You know, you go to New York, they're not as nice as you come here to the Midwest or the South, things like that. Number 4 and things you're going to love, the cities and the towns. Guys, Chicago is one of the greatest cities in not just the U.S., but in the world, with the skyscrapers and the food and the culture. We have museums, we have aquariums, we have all kinds of stuff. We have a lake right over here to go sailing on, sports. Guys, you go to any of these big cities in the U.S., they offer flights to, and you're going to have a great time learning all about the U.S., seeing all the things that are on offer there, and it is great. And then on the other side, you have all the small towns as well. So you go down Route 66, you drive down and you see the world's largest ball of yarn, or you eat Taylor's Chili, you know, in some little inn in Carlinville, Illinois, just like a little small town. You see this big diversity of people, you know, and it's just, diversity of the cities and towns, the culture from the cities and towns, and see how different they are, but still in some ways how the people are the same. And then number 5, the things you're going to love about the U.S. And after I've been driving this summer, well, I drove as far as going from New York to Miami to LA, and guys, believe me, you get so burned out of that much driving. But guys, the beauty of the land of America, whether it's the deserts in the Southwest, the Rocky Mountains, the Smoky Mountains, the Great Lakes, the Great Plains, the swamps by Savannah, or the marshes by Savannah, or the swamps in Louisiana. Guys, America has the most amazing diversity of nature out there that you can enjoy, whether it's going to Monument Valley or Yosemite National Park, seeing Old Faithful go off, Yellowstone. I mean, guys, there's so much out there to see, and you're going to love that diversity of just geography and nature that you're going to see here in the U.S. And it is amazing. So what are the 5 things you're going to love when you're here in the U.S.? 1, it's cheap to stay, to eat, and to shop. Do a lot of shopping. 2, the diversity of the cultures here in the U.S. and how they melted together. 3, the wonderful people, the wonderful Americans that are here. They're going to help you have a good time. 4, the diversity between the cities and the towns in the U.S. and how much fun you can have either in a big city or a small town. And number 5, the beauty of America. Guys, it is a beautiful country, and I want you to come enjoy it. If you want to learn more about traveling in the U.S. or Europe or South America, whatever, check out our site at www.waltersworld.com. We have all kinds of language videos as well. If you want to learn Spanish or Portuguese or learn English, we have it all there. So, have a great time. Come visit the U.S. There's wonderful people here, especially here in Chicago, one of my top 10 towns in the U.S. You notice that fountain right there? That's the fountain from Married with Children. Bye.